What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of your favorite Aunties podcast. What's up?
Oh, you've been in a singer mood.
I am. I'm feeling real good.
That's good. That's good. Well, I am very excited because it's a special time of year.
It is.
The first thing is this Friday. We have a sold out.
A what?
Sold out.
No, hold on. It's sounding real good to me. Just say it one more time.
Completely sold out live show in Houston, Texas. We are so excited.
Listen, shout out Houston.
It's a big show,
y'all,
man.
And all the people who are coming from different places. Just because it's a Houston show doesn't mean that, everybody is from Houston. So shout out to everybody who is coming
from out of town, taking planes and driving cars and staying in hotels.
Listen, honey.
They did what they had to do.
I know that's right. They said we're going to be in the number.
Okay. And that number is what? Sold out.
Hallelujah.
So I'm really excited. Also really excited because in just a few days, it is my bestie. She has other ones, but my besties.
We're not even a minute. No, we're not even 2 minutes in.
My bestie's birthday. It is this Sunday, May 5th. Super excited for you to experience a new year. So I'm excited. We get to celebrate another birthday together.
It's going to be so good. We're no longer going to be the same age.
Nope, not going to be the same age.
We enjoyed the month.
I'm the younger, more supple best friend.
Anyway, I'm going to give it to you, but you're looking good in that black girl.
Anyways.
I said, you put that on. I said, oh, okay. How you doing?
I love it. I love it.
Listen, I'm very excited for my birthday, but we got to get into what we're going to be talking about today, and that is
therapy. We talk about it all the time. But we've never talked about it by itself.
Right.
And I just figure since I'm always talking about what my therapist said, that we could just dedicate a whole episode to what my therapist said.
We're going to call it What She Said.
Okay. Because, I don't know, therapy is really important. Y'all hear us say it all the time. Go to therapy.
Go. Run.
That is the response to every question, every piece of advice, every comment. Baby, go to therapy.
And ain't nothing wrong with it. We really want to take the stigma off of therapy. I feel like we are a generation who understands the importance of our mental and emotional health.
Very true.
And I think that a lot of us have come to the realization that you're crazy if you don't go. Not crazy if you do go.
That's good. That's good. I like that.
No, because I can remember growing up and just hearing different people, the older generation, talk about like, oh, you going to a shrink and you doing this, you doing that. You got to be crazy. No, baby, I'm trying to get help.
Trying not to be crazy.
Hello? Now, if I wasn't doing something, then y'all would want to say there's something wrong with me.
Come on.
But we have to be proactive about our mental health because listen.
Absolutely.
If you don't get that thing in check now, you're going to miss it later.
Come on. It'll be gone.
Hello?
All right, I'm head out.
Baby, please. That thing will check out on you.
Okay. Like a library book. But.
Okay, I see what kind of episode this is going to be.
I like that you said the word proactive, though, because I did want to talk about how we started going to therapy, because I know I've talked about it like before, but I did want to talk about that because something did spur me to start going.
Right.
But you don't have to wait for like a catastrophic event, life-changing thing. You don't have to wait till you're sunken in depression. You don't have to wait for something to happen or for you to feel a certain kind of way to go to therapy. I think the best part of therapy for me is having somebody to talk to.
Right.
Somebody who is looking at my life like from the outside looking in. Because I had people to talk to like friends and my pastor and things like that, but I always felt like, okay, but they have a vested interest in different things.
Right.
So to have somebody completely outside of my life, legally bound to not talk about nothing that I tell them.
Hello?
It's really nice to just be able to talk freely, like for real, freely about whoever, whatever, what's going on. Because I tend to be cognizant when I'm talking to people of what I'm saying, who I'm talking about, especially if they know that person.
Right.
And so it's hard sometimes, even though I know my friends and different things are there for me, I'm not always able to talk freely. So I love that I'm able to talk freely with my therapist.
No, that's really, really good. And you know what's so funny to me? I love my therapist. Shout out to her, because we'll be in sessions and I know that I'm like telling her something serious, something deep. And the fact that she can keep a straight face half the time, I'm like, you have so much self-control. Because if somebody would be telling me this, I'm telling you, I'd be like, and then what happened? and you did what? And the fact that she can maintain her professionalism, but still make me feel incredibly comfortable. I love that. Yeah. I love that. And it is so important to have that in your therapist, to essentially feel like and know that you have a safe space in them.
I agree. So talking about the genesis of my therapy journey.
Ooh, I love that. I love that.
You like that verbiage there? So I started going, and y'all have heard me say this before, I started going to therapy after my last breakup. I was with that person for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And we broke up for the final time. And
that's important to the story.
And I did all the things, right? So like I prayed. Right. I just started focusing on different things. That's when I started my workout journey. Baby, I was in that gym, 5 a.m. Like I was just, focused on leveling up, but I was still carrying a level of anger.
Yeah.
And I had an anger that was there because I just felt like I had given so much to that relationship for it to not work.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing like wasted effort.
Ooh.
Baby, that thing upsets me. Like, I was just upset. And so a couple of months had went by and I was still angry. It's like I was over it. I wasn't crying. I wasn't sad, but I was just angry.
Yeah.
And so finally I was like, look, I've done all the things. Like, I'm bettering myself. I'm in church. I'm praying. I'm doing all the things, but I'm still carrying like a little bitterness, if we real, like a little bitterness. And so I was like, I'm going to just find somebody to talk to. I just really need to talk to somebody, outside of my life or whatever. And so I remember friend of mine, distant friend, but friend nonetheless, somebody that I really trust who, is very just honest and a well-meaning person, had reposted somebody they knew who was a therapist. And so I ended up, I sent her a DM because she had tagged her page.
Right.
And I was like, I'm interested in therapy services. Like, what would I need to do in order to, start therapy? And so she did respond to me, and she was like, all right, once you send me this email and you do this, this, and this, like, we can't communicate on social media anymore. So we don't communicate on social media at all. But she ended up like sending me the information to get started with her. We got started, and at first I was like, I don't know. It was just very foreign to, I'm already not the type of person to talk to a bunch of different people. So a stranger, it was like, this is kind of weird. But she was like giving me homework and stuff, and I want you to read this book, and I want you to do this. And we talked about the definition of my therapy session, my therapy journey when it started. And I told her that I wanted to make sure that I was healed and whole for my next relationship because I did still want love and everything.
Yeah.
So from there, like, it went from really, really shaky to like, no, this is
it.
So cathartic, like just being able to just talk.
Yeah.
Like just talk. Cause everybody knew I was with that guy for 2.5 years. So everybody around me knew him.
Yeah.
And even in my humility, I was still trying to not throw him under the bus, try to take responsibility, not tarnish his image in their eyes. And so I hadn't really just laid it all out for anyone.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't even know when it was, but that bitterness and that anger, it uprooted itself in the process of continuing, of course, the spiritual side of it, but having a therapist. So I really thank God for that.
Amen. That's really, I'm glad you went, baby.
Me too, girl.
Because listen, and if we would have for real been friends, girl, please.
God knew.
The way I feel about you, that man hurt my friend, and she don't mess with nobody.
God knew.
Oh, it's up. I would have ruined that man's life. 100%. It wouldn't have thought nothing about it. Would have slept with the fan on high. So for me, I somewhat have a similar story. I went through that abusive relationship, and I didn't immediately go to therapy after that. It took another relationship, and I was like, oh, yeah, this ain't it.
Yeah.
So I ended up reaching out to a therapist because I got to a sunken place, like a very, very, very low place. I was like, yeah, nah, this is getting to be too much. And I started therapy, and at at that particular time, I was still very self-righteous. So it was so important for me to have a Holy Ghost filled, tongue talking, fire baptized.
Come on.
So I went through and I was looking at different people's pictures, and I knew I wanted a Black woman. Yes. I knew I wanted her to be saved. It didn't really matter to me what age she was. I just wanted somebody who could relate to me in a sense.
Yeah.
And for me, the spiritual side was the most important and the most prevalent in my life at that particular time. So when I started communicating with her and I figured out she was saved, and then I knew her apostle at the time, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is God. And we started having our sessions. Honey, she was digging into me left and right.
Yeah.
I said, well, baby, am I going to catch a break at all?
Yeah.
And it was so funny because when I first started seeing her, she was like, okay, I'm going to see you again in a couple of days.
Uh-huh.
And for the first few sessions, they were real close together. And then eventually she was like, okay, we're going to go to once a week now.
Yeah.
And then, it was still once a week for quite some time. And then she's okay, now we going to go every 2 weeks, okay?
Uh-huh.
And then, so once she started loosening the reins a little bit, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing better.
Mm-hmm.
But it was real touch and go at first. And it was so funny because going into therapy, I thought that it was immediately supposed to make me feel better.
That's a good point. Talk about it.
And no, that's not always the case. So for me, because of the reason why I went to therapy, it felt worse before it felt good.
That's good. Come on.
I was just thinking immediately that all of my feelings would be validated and everything that I was doing was right and this and that is everybody else wrong. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so wrong. But I'm thankful that I had a therapist who, one, did hear from God.
Yeah.
And another one that just kept it very honest with me and let me know that I needed to grow.
That's good.
That I needed to heal, that I needed to be more understanding and things of that nature. And she really poured into me. It was a very beautiful experience. And then eventually, once she started loosening the reins on me, we went, like I told you, from, week to week, then every 2 weeks, then, twice a month and so forth. Until eventually she was like, okay, well, I'm going to see you in like 4 or 5 months. And I was like, oh, that's where we are. And at first I was like, why are you kicking me out? Like I started
rejection.
No, that thing started
abandonment.
Coming up. Hello? I was like, what do you mean? Let me find another problem. Why you let me go? And it was funny because I actually brought that to her attention. I was like, why are you trying to kick me out? Like she was like, we're not doing that. Like, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, it would be wrong of me to keep you in therapy right now.
Ooh, come on, honesty.
And I was like, oh, okay. She was like, the things that are going on in your life, you can manage those right now.
That's good.
You can manage those.
Yeah.
And then eventually for a while I did. And then we kept on having our checkups. And then for a long time, I didn't go to therapy. And then when you brought it to my attention that I needed to go to therapy again, I was like, okay, my dearest friend is letting me know I need some help.
I don't say it like that.
Friend.
I was concerned.
Nah, friend. You did everything but sign me up for it.
I would have did that too, because you know how I am.
Baby, I'm surprised you didn't. But I really do take a lot of what you say very seriously. I'm going to still do what I do.
It is.
I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But I don't take it lightly when you bring things to my attention. So when you were like, friend, I want you to take your mental health more seriously. I really do think you need some help right now. I emailed like 4 or 5 people and like 2 of them got back with me. I had a discovery session with 2 of them and I decided to go with the second one. And I'm really glad that I shopped around. I'm glad that I still had that discovery session because the first therapist, she was still cool. The very first one I had, but I was like, I needed something different this time around.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did the discovery calls with the 2 young women, I was like, okay, I definitely gravitated more toward my current therapist. And we've had an incredible relationship thus far. But I think it was really important for me to shop around. Not to say that I wouldn't have had a great journey with the first one that I talked to.
Yeah.
Whenever I did the third round of therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was really good for me to see what else was out there.
True.
And I think that a lot of times some of the questions that we got was, well, how did you find your therapist, or what drew you to them, and how many times did you talk to somebody? Baby, date around. Find you somebody who gonna
date them all, sis.
Hello, and may the best one win. Take that into all areas of your life.
Hello. No, that's really good. Because like I said, I did mine kind of like by referral,
right?
Like not direct referral, me just seeing and being like, And then when I talked to her, it was important for me to have somebody who was saved as well, because it's just such a large part of my journey. And so I needed somebody to kind of understand. And I love that about her, because some of the stuff that we've been able to talk through is actually rooted in like my spirituality.
Yeah.
And so somebody who may not have that experience or have that understanding wouldn't be able to.
Right.
And she did ask me, I remember like maybe our first or second session, she was like, are you okay with me talking about spirituality? Are you okay with me like mentioning God or talking about this and that? And then I also know that she believed in God with me.
Yeah.
And you can't never have too much of that. Come on and believe God with me.
Hello?
Huh?
Believe him for me. Believe him with me.
Come on.
Believe on him.
Right.
In him.
Right.
Baby, because we need some help. Sometimes I remember you were talking to me about one of your sessions, and it's like she reassured you in God in a way. And sometimes you don't want to hear it, but at the same time, you do need to hear it. And I know that it was important for you to be reassured in that time that no, like God is going to work it out, or God does see you in this. And because it would have been, who knows where you would be right now if you didn't have that backing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Especially as we're just walking through different things. There's so many different things that have come up. Some things rooted in spirituality, like growing up in church and just like different teachings and things that I needed to unravel. But God literally knew like who I needed and when I needed, because shortly after that, I started going through my like deconstruction, and she was right there with me, reassuring me like, no, Nia, like you're still saved. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay that you have questions and you're trying to figure out things. She's believed God with me for different things. When I'll talk to her about how I felt about being single, when I went through that depression, like all of those different things, she's been able to walk through with me and not just give me like the mental, emotional side of it, but also the spiritual side of it. And I think that that's really important.
But also knowing that balance, because I know that you spoke about having that spiritual backing with your apostle or different spiritual leaders that you just trust, or people in the faith.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't want just faith. I want medicine as well. Or I want to know that somebody went to school for this. You know what I mean? And it's because it's one thing to go to somebody who has a certificate, and it's another thing to go to somebody who got a doctorate. You know what I mean? You know what? It feels good knowing that not only am I being taken care of spiritually, but I'm being taken care of mentally. Like, truly, this is something that you.
Because a lot of people do one or the other,
right? And this is a passion. I like doing things with people who made it their passion, or it's their passion that they do something. Because think about somebody who just does something for their work and the type of effort that they put in, versus somebody like, no, this is incredibly special to me. It's like there's another touch that's added to it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. So yeah, she's really opened up a lot. And I think another thing I wanted to point out about therapy, and you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, is it's not like this dose of medicine that fixes it in one session.
Right.
Things continuously unfold. You have to continue to talk through things and think through things. And I love that she doesn't ever feed me anything or try to get me to say something or try to direct me in a certain way. She'll ask me questions, but even in her asking me questions, it's like I'm doing the work. You know what I mean? And so I don't want anybody to think that therapy is your therapist doing the work. Like, oh, I'm just going to go in there and talk, and they're going to diagnose me, and then boom. No, they're going to assist you in your journey of figuring things out. So when you go to therapy, know that you're going to be doing some work.
Right.
Like, this takes time. It takes effort. She gave me assignments, hey, I want you to work on this. Hey, I want you to try this. Hey, like it's a work to it. It's not this easy thing that you just go into, and then when you come out, you feel better.
Right. And I believe, and I definitely want to stick on that, but I believe Holy Spirit is nudging me right now. Whenever you're in therapy, it's incredibly important for you to be open and honest with who you are and what you're dealing with, because you can't heal a part of you that's still trying to be shielded.
Yeah.
They can't heal
what you don't reveal.
Right. I think oftentimes in the church and also in life, we've gotten so used to somebody asking us, oh, hey, how are you? And like, oh, I'm fine. Oh, I'm
okay.
good. Whole time inside you are burning, you are dying. But I want you to know that this person truly does want to see you healed, whole, and happy. And it's going to be important for you to just be honest. And sometimes honesty is really hard.
Yeah.
Honest, because when you lie to yourself, sometimes it's a little bit more soothing.
Come on.
Sometimes we know how to operate more in chaos than we do in peace.
Yes, yes.
So I would definitely encourage you to be honest, get to a place of honesty. And I know in previous episodes, I've told you all, like, in order to be truthful to other people, you have to begin to be truthful to yourself. The first person that you have to stop lying to is you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to stop lying to yourself and just be honest and open with where you are, because it's going to be hard to help you walk through life or help you walk through therapy if you're going to continue to lie about the things that you're truly feeling on the inside.
Correct. I totally get that. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Because like we were saying, like you were saying a second ago, you know, it does hurt first. If you being honest, sometimes that thing hurts before it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
But at least if you're hurting yourself to feel better, you know that there's going to be a better outcome.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take longer the longer you lie.
Come on.
Huh?
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I just really feel like I had to stick right there. It's just, you have to be truthful. If you want to heal, you have to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And sometimes truths are incredibly hard. You know how hard it was to arrive to a place to tell myself, nah, you really self-righteous. You're a modern day Pharisee.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I wanted people to prove their salvation to me. And, you know, I was real hard on people.
Yeah.
Like, I was sending everybody to hell. Y'all think that I was joking about that. No, y'all ain't saved.
Yeah.
Like, hellfire and brimstone, holiness or hell, y'all got to live
What
right.
You say, double hell.
Hello? You going to hell. You double hell for sure. Matter of fact, you don't even try no more. There's no need for you to repent. You ain't making it in regard. Like, I mean, I was really, really harsh.
Yeah.
And imagine telling yourself, like, nah, you was dead wrong.
Mm-hmm.
There was no righteous judgment. There was no righteous indignation in that. None of that. No, you was just real self-righteous. And it took me falling for me to understand.
Come on.
And I had to tell myself, it was a hard truth to just be like, nah, I messed a couple people's lives up at first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, being so self-righteous, telling them that they in hell. First of all, I didn't already know what they were dealing with internally. Like, they already didn't feel like they were measuring up. And then here I come. You going to hell. Ain't no point in you changing. You know what I mean? Imagine what that truly could have done. So I had to go back and apologize. Well, I didn't have to, but I made it a point to go back and apologize because I realized I was wrong.
Yeah.
And when you realize you're wrong about stuff, you got to go fix that thing.
Baby, it's a mature person. It's a lot of self-awareness to say, hey, I was wrong. Yeah. To say, even in some of your most painful moments, I played a role. That I have to take some accountability for what I did, what I said, why I put myself in that situation to begin with. Like, those were the things that made me be like, oh, for real? Like, I'm part of it? Like, it's not just their fault? Yeah. I got to take some of that too? Come on. Baby, that's hard. Yeah. It's hard. That's why we have a running joke after our therapy sessions. So, be like, you still got your edges?
Baby, because back then, once you're
Baby, don't snatch them.
Baby, I know how you feel. Your therapist told you, it sound like you got beef with God. Ooh.
Baby.
Well,
that was one of my major moments. I remember just venting, like, and this is why I feel this way. And I have a right to feel like this. Yeah. Sound like you got beef with God. Well, when you put it like that.
When you arrange the words the way that you just did, I could see.
Baby, it'd be those little statements that be like,
won't they make you hush? And they'll say something, it's just like, tee. First of all, I don't pay you for that. Don't you ever feel comfortable speaking to me like that.
Baby, that thing was a revelation to me. Yeah. Like, you mad at God.
And then, how did you feel about having to be honest with that? Being mad at your creator who loves you like you've never been loved before.
But this has, like you said, brought me into a different level of awareness and a different level of honesty, because I could sit back and say, God, I am mad at you.
Yeah.
I feel like you did this, or I feel like you allowed this, or I feel like this, or how come you couldn't just tell me this, or how come you couldn't stop this from happening? And just being honest about that even improves my relationship with God.
Hello. Yeah.
Because you got to be honest with him too. Yeah. Ain't no use in hiding and acting like I'm not. Baby, I'm mad.
I'm mad about it. Huh? And I don't know when I'm going to get over it if I'm really keeping it real.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And that, I think that is one major milestone for me, is in my relationship with God. Like, even in those moments, I'm like, well, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't like that you did that.
Yeah.
Or I didn't like that this happened. I don't understand why you're doing this. Or I feel like you're doing that. And just being able to say that to him, not in a disrespectful way, but in an honest way. Like, he doesn't need me to pretend. For
and
what?
He knows the truth anyway. Where can I hide from him?
Huh?
What valley is
if
low
you
enough?
Make your bed in hell.
Where he gonna be? Huh?
Okay.
I'm right there.
Okay.
Huh? If you find yourself in the furnace, there was another man that was in there. Huh?
Come on.
Ain't no valley low enough. Ain't no mountain high.
That's a good awareness. That just came to me like, man, therapy actually pushed me to be more honest with God.
Amen.
I love that.
Amen. Mm-hmm. That's really, really good. Mm-hmm. It is amazing how being self-aware can really bring you into a more fulfilling part of your life.
And also,
however, sometimes, I think I talked to you about it before, being in La La Land it seemed like it was so much more peaceful. Because when you're self-aware, you can really see things at a different angle. And it's like, no, I see where I was wrong. I see where I fell short. I see where this person is wrong, but I have to extend grace because they don't even understand. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
The awareness of others.
And then it's like you want to go left because they not right. Huh? And all you can do is be like, but I understand why you did that. And your understanding is bringing you into another place of maturity to where you won't even lash out. It's like me at my big age being upset with a child for yelling at me when they haven't even learned effective communication yet. Mm-hmm. I'm the one who knows how to practice temperance. You know how to practice a temper tantrum.
Come on.
Huh?
The expectation is different.
I know how to bridle my tongue. You just learned English 3 years ago.
It feels so unfair.
It does feel incredibly unfair. And I know that we've said it before. We go to therapy for the people who don't.
That's right. That's right. And you're applying all that you're learning to situations with people who don't.
Yeah.
So I remember one time I was venting about somebody in my life, and I'm just telling my therapist this, and this, and then they did this, and I hated they did that, and I can't understand this, and all of this, and this. And she was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And what are you going to do with that information?
Well,
crazy that you said that. I don't know.
But I mean it.
I'm just going to be mad.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, like, okay, cool.
Hey.
What are you going to do with that information?
Well, I guess I'll just file it away.
And like, you mean I need to do something with this? Like,
or not do anything.
It'd be those little statements. Just the little statements. You'd be like, okay. I mean, cool. Yeah, I can see that. I can see it.
I mean, I remember when I was first starting with my with my current therapist, and we had maybe 3 to 4 sessions.
Yeah.
We were just talking. She ever so casual. She was like, I did tell you I diagnosed you with depression, right? I did say that, huh? I was like, well, I could definitely see how you've come to that conclusion. You didn't necessarily tell me.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you did. But because she was honest with me, we've been able to walk through that. And I've had some really great days.
Yeah.
And, I'm working toward great months.
Come on.
But I mean, do you feel like there's been a shift in me, or there's been like a change in how I've been?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, in the last, I would say at least the last 30 days, maybe the last 60. Yeah, it's definitely different.
I also started taking vitamins. that was real big. I've been consistently taking my vitamins. That's another thing. When my therapist was talking to me, she was like, all right, y'all, don't laugh, okay? She was like, how your vitamin D levels? I said, well, they low. And I was like, well, which vitamin D you talking about?
Yeah, mine told me that too.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, one of them is non-existent.
Okay.
The other one I can do something
can't really control. Trying to live right.
I mean, I could control it, but then it'd be double hit.
Holiness is still right. Holiness is still right.
Holiness is still right. My legs still close. I gotta be serious.
No, that's real though. The vitamin D.
Which part? Which one? Okay, anyway, so
it's real.
No, and because low vitamin D, not checking your iron and all that stuff, that can absolutely be a part of depression. And I can say, since consistently taking the different supplements that I take, and actually for real, taking vitamin D, the supplement, I have been in a better place.
That's good.
And I'm really, really thankful that I've remained consistent in it, because I can see an improvement in my overall mental health and emotional health.
That's really, really good.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. Now, before we go, I did want to address, because we say go to therapy all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, well, TTs, I can't afford therapy.
Right.
So what can you share with them about maybe something that they could do about that, or somebody they could find in spite of that?
I'm so glad you said that. So we have a spot. No, I'm joking. So what you can do, there are different websites that you can go on and actually find a therapist. And what a lot of therapists do is they have what's called a sliding scale. So what that means is, based on your income would be how much you would pay them. Then if you are a college student, I would definitely encourage you to go see your school counselor. They do have those in college, contrary to popular belief. For those of our listeners who are still in high school, speak to your guidance counselor. Speak to the counselor that's on staff. I would also encourage you to speak to a responsible, intelligent, spiritually mature leader, who does have some counseling experience. So there are a lot of different ways that you can get involved. Or if you like, you can... Some psychologists, not psychiatrists, some psychiatrists and some therapists actually give hours to people who are coming out of school. So what they'll do is they'll allow those residents to actually be the one to give you the counseling or give you the session, and then they just sit in on it. That way, that you're not necessarily taking up their time, but the people who are trying to get their hours for school.
That's good.
And of course, they manage it or what have you, and they'll step in when need be.
Yeah. I also want to say too, like post-pandemic, a lot of companies put a lot of money into mental health.
Yeah.
So check with your company, check with your healthcare provider, because I know that my healthcare provider has like a mental aspect, and then my company actually offers like a certain amount of sessions on them. Mm-hmm. Now it's like not that many, it's not going to cover you for the whole year, but a lot of companies do have some kind of program going on where they either help you or they offer a session or two. Just look into it, because a lot of money got funded into mental health after the pandemic.
That's really, really good. Also, don't be afraid. You found your therapist on social media.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to put out a post like, hey, does anybody know any therapists in the area? Does anybody know who's doing telehealth therapy or anybody who's still doing in-person? It really just depends on what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, you ask for recommendations on everything else. Might as well do it for your mental health.
That's true. Yeah. Because our therapy sessions are virtual.
Yeah.
I know somebody else I know is like, no, I really need to go in person. But it's easier for me because I can literally do it anywhere, and then I don't have to drive somewhere and make out the time, and I can just, hey, it's our appointment time, log into our little session, and boom. So don't be afraid to do it online either, because I think sometimes that mindset is like, oh, I got to go and sit on somebody's couch, lay down. And you don't have to do that. You can do it from the comfort of your home.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, this was so good. I'm sure we're going to have to talk about this again.
Of course.
I'm so sure. But listen, this has been another great episode of
Your Favorite Aunties podcast.
Bye.